This week, we're going to be talking about materials for your home. So I often get asked the question by clients, what floor finishes are suitable for their home. To get started, the flooring materials that we're going to have a look at today specifically is hardwood, laminates, vinyl, carpeting, and tiles. Those are basically the main floorings that we do get. We won't be discussing things like bamboo today, which is also quite popular. But looking at hardwood, where would you use hardwood? I would say keep hardwood away from wet areas. Kitchens is fine, but bathrooms I wouldn't necessarily suggest using hardwood because it is still a timber and it does absorb moisture. So living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, hallways, those types of places. Hardwoods have been around since the beginning of time. It is a natural material. Of all the flooring finishes, it adds the most resale value to your home. It is a more expensive upfront cost, but durable, long-lasting. It is also susceptible to scratches. Laminates are a very, very popular choice. So it doesn't scratch as easily. It's a much easier installation because it's got the click system. And you also get a wide variety of designs and colors. The cons, on the other hand, is you can't refinish it. So if you do damage your laminate flooring, you'll have to replace that specific section that's damaged. It's not as durable as the hardwoods, and it's also susceptible to moisture. And sometimes, especially if you go for a cheaper version or a cheaper brand, it does feel a little bit cheap underfoot. Vinyl flooring, that's become very popular. It looks a lot like your laminate. The biggest bonus is it's waterproof. So you can use it in your bathrooms and your kitchens. Budget-friendly options you do get, and a wide variety of colors and patterns as well, textures. The vinyl does have more of a texture to it than what the laminate does have. Very, very popular choice. The cons are that if you do have very heavy furniture, it can make an indent if that furniture is in place for a long time. So if you were going to rearrange the room or refurnish the room, just bear that in mind. It does, as I was saying earlier, your solid timber floors are your highest for resale value. Putting in laminates, because it's a more affordable option, it does lower the resale value of the home, similar to putting in carpets, which we'll see later. The vinyls can discolor over time, especially if they do get a lot of sun on them. So be mindful of that. Just ensure you have some form of protection so that they don't get direct sun necessarily during the hottest time of the day. Tiles, been a popular floor covering for a very long time, especially in colder countries where carpets aren't that much of a popular choice due to the heat. Tiles can be used bathrooms, kitchens. The water resistance, fantastic. Entryways, mudrooms, anywhere with water, where water can come into contact with the floor, it is the preferred option. So the pros to that is they are extremely durable, the most durable of all the floor finishes. They are scratch resistant to a large extent, but obviously they can chip if you drop something heavy on them. The cons would be they are extremely hard and cold underfoot. So if you're in a cold country, it probably wouldn't be your first choice for floor covering unless you're going to be putting in underfloor heating. They are slippery when wet. So make sure if you're installing tiles inside and outside, you want that continuity going from your inside to your outside. Just make sure that you put the non-slip on the outside. Don't have a slippery tile on the outside. It's something that you are going to install once, and it can last you 20, 30 years if you look after it and maintain it well. So I often get asked, what is the difference between a ceramic tile and a porcelain tile? So all tiles are made from clay, and they are all fired in a kiln. The difference is one is made from a coarse particle clay, the other one from a finer particle, and the temperatures at which they're fired differ. So that affects the strength and also the water resistance. So we'll first have a look at ceramics. But they are the cheaper tile and they are easier to install as well. The cons is that they do absorb more moisture than the porcelain tiles, and they're also not as strong. They can chip more easily, and because they are glazed, often if they are chipped, you can see the chip, whereas with a porcelain tile, often the color goes through, so the chip is not as visible as with a ceramic tile. They're well suited to walls, kitchen splashbacks, light floor traffic areas. Porcelain, very good for flooring. So these are made with finer, denser clay particles and fired at a much higher temperature, so they are a lot harder, and often you have the through body color, so chips are less visible if you use the porcelain tiles. They would be the more expensive option as well, just due to the different nature of the tile. A couple of the cons is they are more expensive, and because they are harder to cut, making the installation of these a little bit more expensive than the ceramics. So you would use these quite easily in high traffic areas, bathrooms, kitchens, outdoor areas, and also very suitable to commercial spaces that do have high traffic, high foot traffic. Then moving along to carpets. Carpets are very suitable to bedrooms. You can use them in living rooms, family rooms, stairs. They do absorb noise, so good for soundproofing. Also very suitable to cold climates. A couple of the pros is it is soft and warm. It is an affordable option. Very easy installation, easy to change. A couple of the cons, they do stains, and then it does trap dust, so you could get prone to allergies, and it does reduce the resale value on a house compared to the hardwood floors, for instance, but definitely necessary in certain areas of the house, especially if you are in the colder climates. You get basically three different types of carpets. The one is the cut pile. Secondly, you get the loop pile, and then you get a combination of the two. So here you can get your patterns in your carpets. So the cut and loop pile is quite popular for commercial applications. All right, then moving on to walls. Today we're only going to have a look at the really popular choices, which would be paints, wallpapers, wood paneling, and then stone and tile applications. Starting with paint, this is the most affordable option for all the wall coverings. It is low maintenance, it's easy to change. The cons, it can show imperfections. So user on feature walls, the vinyl wallpapers are moisture resistant. The pros, you get a huge variety of different patterns, colors, and if you do have the wrong wallpaper in a room that does have moisture, it can affect that wallpaper and it can start bubbling and peeling away. The next one we'll have a look at is wood paneling. So wood paneling can be used also, again, as feature walls. Well, they're durable, long-lasting. You wouldn't need to replace it often. It does provide some acoustic value because it is wood, and also the acoustic benefit. The cons, it's a higher material and installation cost because definitely this would need to be done by a specialist. Different types of wall paneling is you do get the shiplap, which is this one in this image, which contrasts quite nicely if you do have cladding on the outside of your building. And then you also can get reclaimed wood, which is great for recycling. And then we've got the tile and the stone. And with that durability does come the price tag, unfortunately, as well. But very versatile. You can use it in bathrooms because the moisture is not going to affect it. Very low maintenance. Nice to use just here and there, and nice to also link your inside and outside areas visually. The cons, it is the most expensive option, so just use it sparingly. It is heavy as well. It is a heavy product, so you would need to make sure that whatever substrate you're putting it onto can structurally carry it. So just get an engineer involved to have a look and make sure that your structure can actually carry that. It does need professional installation as well. I always say we do the layouts first and then we do the selections afterwards, and I still stand by that. But once the layout is in place, do your selections alongside your budget and just tweak it as you go so that you can see where you need to cut. Decide what is your most important priority. Is it flooring? Is it walling? Do you want a specific feature wall? And then, we just tweak the budget along with the finishes and the selections before you actually start the build. Next week, we'll have a look at benchtop selections and cabinetry. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all again next week. Thank you.